Welcome to Raw Talk, Real Healing.
It's like therapy, but with more laughs and less copays.
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Diana.
We're licensed therapists.
But here, we just want to have raw and unapologetic conversations.
So come vibe with us. Where professional meets personal.
Let's get it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Raw Talk Tuesday.
Hi.
Why were you so delayed?
Sorry, get my life together
Are
here.
you present?
Yes, I'm present.
Okay, just checking.
Yes, I am feeling good today. So much better. I had the best workout today.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Glute day, baby.
Oh, I hate a leg day.
I know.
I hate a lower body day.
Yeah.
I haven't worked out in probably like a month,
Let's not talk about it.
but I'm really focused on feeling better overall, and then I'm going to start implementing that back in. Like today, I actually woke up at like 6:45, and I felt good this morning. Like
Good.
I haven't woken up that early months and actually felt good.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
So, I am kind of excited. I think I've been saying that lately. Like, I've been so excited about these episodes, but
I know.
I feel like some of these just like, I don't know if they hit home or like they're just really like good content that
Yeah.
I want people to get.
Yeah. And I know earlier we both said like, oh, I'm feeling really good today. I'm feeling really excited for this one. But I feel like the way that we've been planning has definitely been helpful because it allows us to just kind of chit chat,
Mm-hmm.
which is more so what we wanted. So I feel like that plays a role in like the excitement and, you know, how these episodes are going to turn out.
Yeah. Kind
I
of like
really-
go with the flow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
Good.
And apparently we've been getting some feedback they like it too.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to start it off with this quote.
Okay.
Okay.
I gotta get comfortable.
Okay, get comfy, girl. Comfy, cozy.
Yeah.
All right. Sometimes love isn't the reason we stay.
Mm.
It's the fear of starting over.
Ooh, burn.
Burn.
That burns a little bit.
It does.
And I think anybody can relate to this because it's like, okay, I know this doesn't really feel as good as it used to, or I know that this doesn't feel good for me anymore, but like, do I really want to get back out there and date? Do I really want to end this friendship? Because we've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
What will my life look like without this person? That's scary.
Yeah, it is. Which brings us to today's episode.
Ooh, why do we stay?
Why do we stay? And I like that you just said too, like, in friendships too, because it's not just relationship.
Right.
It is friendships. It's workplaces.
Right.
It's all of the things. Like, you need to go.
Workplaces is a good one. And I know we mentioned that last night when we were like planning, but workplaces is a good one because I remember like feeling so attached to my job, but only because of the people that were there, as if they didn't want to see me like succeed further in life.
No, you're so right. I mean, I feel like, again, we all can relate to this in so many of those aspects because I felt the same way. And I think I might have saw it somewhere, of course, online. And then Jamal was like, they gonna replace you
Right.
so quick. Like, just go. Like, what are you waiting for?
Right. And even in sessions sometimes, like when clients are talking about like wanting to do things on their own or go out and flourish and do these different things, I'm always like, you have to do what's best for you. And if you're not doing what's best for you, nobody else is.
No, absolutely not. And I'm like, dang, you're so right. And it was literally like leaving to open the private practice. And it's scary. You're like, my own business. Like,
I know.
you know what I mean? Like, what if this? What if that? You know what I mean? It's that fear. But here I am, thriving. Best decision I ever made in my life.
Right. Yeah. Starting private practice here and taking that leap was literally one of the best decisions that I've made for myself professionally, financially, and all of these things. But it was so scary because when you start something that you don't know the consistency of what it's going to be, it's
Mhm.
scary. So let's think about consistency of like clients and, friendships and stuff like that. But a romantic relationship, you don't know who the fuck gonna be consistent or not.
Exactly. That's like, you don't have control over nobody.
Right.
So, like, how do I know?
So our question is, why do people stay? I think a big thing in like friendships and work environments and all these different things, the person who wants to leave is so scared of looking like the bad guy or looking like a villain in a situation when it really just comes to like putting themselves first.
Yeah. Nobody wants to look like the bad guy.
Well, no, of course not. But like, why do we equate like taking care of ourselves as something that makes us look bad?
Good question.
You know?
Mhm.
Interesting.
Maybe we can answer that question for everybody.
Can you answer it? I'm asking you. I put you on the spot.
I know. Okay, what was the question again?
Why do we equate taking care of ourselves and putting ourselves first as looking bad or making a bad decision?
So the first thing that comes to my mind is just growing up and being conditioned like this is what you're supposed to do. Like you got to take care of everything around you. Doing something for yourself is selfish, so we don't do that,
Right.
right? And so I grew up always about other people. It's about helping other people's, it's about like making sure everyone is good, you taking care of your family,
Mhm.
so forth and so on. But the problem is nobody teaches us to balance.
Right. And
6, 7. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
6, 7.
No one teaches us that
Right.
balance. Though, like, yes, you have to help others. Helping others is a beautiful thing. And it's rewarding and I love it. But what about taking care of
Right.
yourself? So I feel that we have just wired ourselves that way.
Mhm.
And so it feels like, ugh, this don't feel good because it's like I'm being selfish or
Right.
like this is for me. No, I can't do that. So we get stuck there.
Right. And I think there's a part of it too where it's like, if I stay here and I just suck this up, this is familiar to me. And whether it's painful or not, this is more predictable and this feels safer than ending this friendship, quitting this job and trying something new.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Like, if pain is familiar, your brain and your body will stay there.
Right.
And even though you get yourself out of that, like the uncertainty is just like, that don't feel good.
Yeah, sometimes I think it's kind of paralyzing where it's like, I don't know what to expect. And when I was talking earlier about like the job, so, when I was going through school and all of that, I worked at ShopRite and, it served its purpose for me at that time. And I always knew I was going to have my hours. I knew that they were going to work with me. I knew I was going to have a paycheck at the end of every week. Was the paycheck great? No, but I knew it did what I needed it for me to do, and the thought of leaving that and trying something new that wasn't gonna be as consistent for me was so scary. So,
Yeah.
like, my quality of life at that time was so crappy because I was working all of the time and going to school and doing all of these things, but once I left there and I had a better job, it was consistent. I made way more money. I was able to plan for my future. It felt so much better, but taking that leap was really, really hard.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Your brain equals familiarity with safety.
Right.
That's what it is,
But like
right?
this feels safe to me because I know what to expect here.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about the brain aspect here,
Mhm.
right? So our human brain is wired for safety and
Right.
predictability.
Right.
right? We're going to thrive off of things that are very familiar, that are safe, that we can predict. If your brain can predict it, that's safe.
Right, because I think it also gives us a sense of control.
Yeah, absolutely. Like our brains are not wired for constant disruption.
Mm-mm.
That's why that's that fight, flight, freeze all of the time. You know what I mean? Because your brain is like, what the hell is going on? Like, I need something.
Stability.
I need stability. Exactly. So even when it's unhealthy, as long as it's familiar,
Mhm.
I'm staying. Your brain is like, okay, cool. We're good here.
Mhm.
And so you're literally just hardwiring your brain to be like, yeah,
This is cool.
this is cool. This is good, you know? And that's when your brain starts to equate this is safe because
Right.
it's familiar. But it can be safe. That doesn't mean it's healthy.
Right. I want to transition a little bit though and consider like romantic relationships because I think when we originally thought about this, we were like, okay, why do people stay in unhealthy relationships? Why do people stay in relationships that they know no longer serve them? And we thought about it for a second and we're like, okay, it can relate to romantic relationships, friendships, jobs, all of these things. But I think when we're talking about romantic relationships, and we have been talking about these a lot lately, so I feel like it's good to keep with the flow. Um, so many people stay in things that aren't safe or aren't healthy for not only safety, familiarity, and all of those things, and not wanting to look like the bad guy, but I think hope is a powerful thing too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, how many times or ourselves or others, think, well, hopefully it'll change. Let's just have one more conversation with them and maybe it will get better or maybe they will hear me. And I think we can have so many conversations with the person, but how many chances are we going to give them to make these changes and hear us if they're showing us that they don't care about what we're asking for?
Yeah. Again, I really do think that it comes from a brain's standpoint, right? You think about the attachment that you build with this person,
Right.
right? And so when you're building those attachment bonds, it's really your emotional and chemical patterns in your brain
Right.
that like loop. Right.
Hmm.
And so now you're connected to this person. And what happens when we're connected with this person, we're releasing oxytocin, dopamine, those endorphins, which is all the pleasurable feelings. So now you associate anything good with this person. That's what creates
Right.
that attachment. That's how we get codependent on someone. It's
Right.
literally like you're addicted to this person,
Right.
right? Because the moment, you start like pulling away or like that thought of pulling away, it's like your brain starts to like withdraw
Yeah.
or your body, sorry, starts to withdraw like from this person. You're like, I need those feel good things. And then you're like, I can't leave.
Right.
That's so like sad.
Yeah, and we were talking about that one aspect where it's like, okay, we put all of our emotions here, like we invested so much time that our time and effort now becomes like currency for our emotions. And it's like, okay, I already spent this much time in this relationship, so I have to stay here to make this better. I've already spent so much time here. What do I look like starting over after 2, 3, 8, 9 years?
Yeah. That is tough.
I uh, I couldn't even imagine starting over at this point, like, to go back
I know.
and date again?
Wakala.
Right.
I be talking about that too because I just think to myself, and like, I know that people find real love on these dating apps and
They
stuff
do.
like that. I don't think I could ever,
Oh my god.
I can't do it. I
Okay.
couldn't. I'm
So,
like
like,
so happy that I don't have to worry about that.
I know, I am too, but you know how, like, we thought my situation was so, like, "Oh my god, wow, I can't believe this?" So I have a client. I started seeing her in the summertime. She took a little therapy hiatus where I hadn't seen her for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And she texted me recently and was like, "All right, I want to get back on the wagon. Like, let's get a couple sessions scheduled. I'm coming in." And I'm like, "Okay, girl, see you soon." So she comes in 3 weeks ago. She's like, "So I've been seeing this guy," and she's 26. She's 26. She was talking to me and she was so giddy, like, so all these things. Like, they had all of the important conversations. Like, they are doing the damn thing. And I literally looked at her. I was like, "Girl, I think he's your husband." She was like, "Oh my God."
Remember we were saying that to you?
She was like, "I literally said that to my friends." And I was like, "No, I'm so serious. Like, I think that this is your husband." This guy was married already and divorced. And he literally told her 3 weeks in, he was like, "The way I feel about you, I didn't even feel like this way about my wife."
Wow.
3 weeks have gone by and they're like official, matched on Hinged.
That kinda scary for me, though.
It is, but we sit in session and she's like, "This feels so scary to me." And she's sitting here and she's like having the conversations of like, "What do you want in life? Like, what are your intentions?" Like, she knows what she wants, and they got so vulnerable with one another that it's just like it just worked. And she was like, "When you know, you know." And I was
Yeah.
like, "Yes."
I know.
I literally went home last week and told Mike, I was like, "Mike, one of my clients just found their husband." I
Aw.
was so excited for her
Yeah.
because I resonated with that.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So off
I'm rooting
topic,
for her.
but
I'm rooting for her.
but I feel like that's a big thing too. Like, people don't have, and I know, like, I say this all the time, but people don't have these conversations. And then they think that later in life, when these things do come up and they've been together for all this time, they think that they can like change these people or fix these people to give them what they want. And they cling on to it. And it's like, hello, just listen to what they're saying to you. Why are you not listening to them saying, "Hey, I don't want this"?
Mhm.
If your values don't align, this relationship no longer serves you. Why do people not feel okay leaving that?
Right. And, you know, there's space, I think, for, like, healing and working on things. I don't like saying fixing because I just hate that word.
Right.
Like, mending, building
Right.
things back. I think where I am with that is if you have tried over and over,
Right.
if you're communicating, if it's not like both parties
Right.
want this and you're just staying and this person is literally telling you like I can't give that to you.
Right.
And you're just like, "Okay, well, that's it." Like, I put so much emotional currency,
Right.
into this, which is your time, your effort, your love, like, I mean, you name it. Into this, you're like, "Well, I might as well just stay here." Like, that's when I say to myself, and I think what brought this episode is like, "Why do you stay?
Right.
You're not even happy."
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, life is so short. What the hell? You know what I mean? Like, okay, if both of you guys are working on it, cool. But also that brings the codependency.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which goes back, to what I was talking about in the brain. When you get that connection and you're getting only pleasure from that person, you like seek that high.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like you're so codependent on that person. It's like their crisis is your crisis.
Right.
And then you start getting like, well, I don't want to hurt this person. Like this person hurting you.
Right. Right. And I think there are so many people that when they are in relationships or when they're in friendships and stuff, like, they don't want to hurt another person because they know what that feels like. Right. So it's like, I don't want to abandon this person or I don't want to reject this person because I know what that feels like. But at the end of the day, like, you're only responsible for your own emotions. You cannot make anybody think or feel anything. That is on them and they have to process that. And that, I think that's the biggest thing with codependency. People think that they have to solve and process other people's feelings for them. If they don't want to, that's on them.
Yeah. Crazy. And If you didn't listen to our trauma bond
Right.
episode, go back and listen because that
Yes.
really explains everything that we're kind of talking about here
Right.
with these attachment styles too, you know? But also, one of the main reasons I think people don't leave is that they don't have an identity of like self-worth.
Right. And
They
that's
they equate their worth to this person. Like, I am only worthy because, I'm with this person and because, whatever, built this with this person. So this is who I am.
right.
They have no self identity.
Right. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and it was definitely a client, and I can't picture who it was in my head, and I don't know why. But one thing that they kept saying was like, I want to get my body right. This is like what their session was talking like this is what they were saying. And they were like, I don't want to be in a relationship and have my man tell me I look good or that I'm this or I'm that because they think so. Like I want to feel that too. And I feel like that's what happens in these relationships sometimes where people lose their sense of self and they're always kind of listening to their partner of what they think they look like, what they feel, what their views are, and then it's like if I'm not with this person, what do I have?
Who am I without them?
Right.
Girl,
You
guy,
too.
who, him, her.
I'm him.
Jamal always says that it
My
cracks me
brother
up.
used to say that a
Yeah.
lot.
Like, yeah. Like, stop. We cannot have our self worth based on other people
Right.
and like things that we might have built, with other people. You gotta find your sense of self.
Right.
And if you don't have a sense of self and your sense of self is only attached to this relationship, and again, this is where it can be with friendships or workplace too. Like, I'm only as good as I am because I'm at this place.
Right.
No, you're not. Take that somewhere else, somewhere where you're valued,
Right.
where you're appreciated.
And I think it's so important that if you recognize that you are struggling with these things, it's really important to take a step back and do some reflection and be able to work on that outside of any kind of relationship that provides that for you.
Yeah.
Like, you are never going to find something that serves you in the way that it should unless you have that feeling of self worth prior to.
It's a game changer. I was just telling that to one of my clients today. And, it's always like, choose you. Nobody's coming to save you.
Right.
Stop waiting. And sometimes we don't even know that's what we're waiting for. But you got to be able to choose you so that you have your own authenticity of who you are.
As you're sitting here saying this, it makes me think of too like people that come to therapy and think that it's a magic fix.
Mhm.
That like they can come in here, talk to us a couple times and like everything's magically going to be better. So like,
Mhm.
oh, I have a therapist, everything's fine. No, no. I'm here to give you the tools. I'm here to support you. You got to pull yourself up. You got to make these decisions for you, baby. I can't do it.
No.
That's not my job.
Mm-mm. I know.
And people misconstrue that all the time.
Right. I think that's why people are afraid to attend therapy too. They're like, I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. Honey.
Yes, you do.
No, because we don't tell people what to do.
You need somebody to hold you accountable.
Right. Hold you accountable, but let me help you see things that you don't see.
Right.
And that's what I say. Like, I'm not telling nobody what to do. And I'm not out here giving advice either. That's
Right.
not what I do. I am here to help you interpret and understand your things and give you a different perspective on life, things that you might not see because they're in your lens. Like,
Right.
let me put them on and let me show you what I see.
Right.
And you get that perspective like, ooh, never saw it like that.
Those are my
I
favorite moments.
know.
Ugh,
I
I
know.
never when they're like, you know, never thought of it like that. I'm like, yes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Jackpot. That's what you come to therapy for.
Right.
Another big thing is like shame for leaving, especially like culturally or like family
Mhm.
pressure. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like how do you just leave, especially if you're with someone
for a long
for
time.
a long time? You know what I mean? And like now you feel like, damn, what next? Like,
I think a good example of this is like people who grew up in a home and saw their parents like fight tooth and nail to keep a marriage going, and neither one of the parents ever wanted to like leave or something like that because of their kids. So then I feel like those children, not in all situations, right? But those children are brought up in a home where like they see certain behaviors or certain like dynamics normalized. So then when they move forward in their relationships later in life, it's like, oh, well, this doesn't look like that. So like I have to stick this out. When you get married, you're not supposed to get a divorce.
right.
When you get married, like this is forever. And when you have kids and you have, a life together, like this is supposed to be, what is it? Till death do us part.
Mhm.
I always forget that part. Um, but yeah, I think like there's a pressure of like you fight for this, you fight for your family. And that is like, I think that's really normalized.
Yeah. Like, do you know how many times I hear we stay for the kids? And y'all fuck them kids up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know what a healthy relationship is.
Right.
They don't know how to communicate. All they know how to do is create issues and stay in them
Right.
instead of problem solving. And you taught them that it's okay to stay in
Right.
something that doesn't make you feel good.
Right. And that's like kind of what I'm going with here. Like if you watched this happen, I think that's a big part of why people stay in relationships, because it's like, oh, it could get better. You just have to keep, give them a chance. Let them know how you're feeling. Okay, yes, great, fine. I'm gonna let you know how I'm feeling two, maybe three times. After that, if I keep asking you to adjust something and you're just completely throwing my feelings out the window, this isn't gonna be it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that is you deliberately disrespecting me and my feelings, and why should I continue to be a part of that?
Yeah. I think that's why it's so important to really be able to navigate through these things, especially before you even think about marriage.
Right,
Because nowadays people are like, oh, we'll get married. If it don't work, we'll just get a divorce. Like, wakala.
right,
Who gets
yeah.
married just to get married?
A
You know,
lot of people
so many. You know
a
what I mean?
lot of
Because
people
it's trendy at this point,
right, where
right?
people think that, like, this is what you're supposed to do next. So that client that I was talking about where her boyfriend now was previously married, I was just like, that's really sad to think about, getting married and not feeling the way that he does now.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
to just get married and think that like this is what it's supposed to be and it could be so much better.
Hmm.
And I don't mean by like the grass is always greener, right? But like when you have these conversations and when you meet somebody and it just aligns, that's the way that it should be. It shouldn't be like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but when it aligns, it should just feel good.
Yeah. And listen, shit's gonna happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to be on the same team. Like, I have to know that we can fight this battle together because there's always going to be something that's going to come up. Always.
Right.
You know
And
what
you
I mean?
gotta know that, like, you guys can navigate through that together in a healthy way. Like, I'm not sitting here saying that there should be, like, no disagreements, no nothing. No,
Hmm.
that's not real.
Hmm.
But you wanna make sure that you can navigate through challenges in a healthy way, so
Hmm.
that way when things do come up, it's like, "Okay, I know you got me."
Yeah. Right. So if it doesn't look like that, that's a red flag.
Right.
So then you have to unpack the why. Why am I staying then if it doesn't feel like that?
Right.
If it doesn't feel like I have a teammate, if it doesn't feel like a partnership, right? what are we doing?
And I
Like,
think you that's what led us here, like, why are all of these people staying in these things?
yeah.
And I don't think people ask that question, like, "Why am I here?" I've been in a relationship before where I literally thought to myself, like, "I don't even know what I like about this person anymore. So
Mm,
why was I there?"
right.
All of my self-worth was in this relationship,
Yeah.
which is sad.
You built that home
I
in
did.
somebody else instead of in
Right.
yourself.
And now I feel that I built that home within myself. And to be able to move forward into a healthy relationship, I
Mhm.
had that in me first.
Yeah. I think you have to answer the question, why do I feel safe in this relationship? What makes you feel safe here? If you can't answer that, baby.
You got to go. But sometimes people can answer that.
Mhm.
And sometimes the answer to that question is comfortability. The answer to that question is the chaos. The answer to that question is the fear of abandonment. But if that is the reason why you're staying, you got to go to therapy
Yeah.
because that is unhealthy relationship patterns that are wired into your brain that should not be there and have to be worked through
Right.
because that is not healthy. If the only reason you're in a relationship is because it feels like it's familiar, it's comfortable, it's chaotic. Can it be comfortable in healthy ways? Yes. But if you're taking a step back and thinking like this reminds me of my childhood and my childhood was a disaster,
Mhm.
why are we here?
Yeah.
Why are we repeating this pattern?
Or if you're like thinking about it and like your nervous system starts to like wall out
Yes.
and it starts to think like, oh my gosh, this can't be good. You
Right.
need to go to therapy too. You need
Mhm.
to figure out that you have created this codependency with this person
Right.
and you need to rewire that in your brain
Right.
and body because that's not healthy.
Because even like we talked about in the episode about the attachment styles and things like that, when you have an anxious or avoidant attachment, your nervous system is triggered. If you
Yeah.
can't recognize that, or even if you can, we have to do some reflection. We have to do some self work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is good because I feel like we've all been here.
Yes.
But we've also, when I say we, I mean you and I.
Hmm.
We've been there and now we're here in like healthy situations. So I
Right.
think that's a good like example of we can be in those positions and recognize them and work through them
Right.
and build where we are right
Yes.
here, right now.
Yes.
So this is possible. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to, stay in something that doesn't make you feel worthy,
Right.
but it is going to start with you.
Right.
The moment you start recognizing your self worth, increasing your self esteem, your confidence, it's such a game changer
Yes.
in not only your relationship, but just your overall life.
Right.
You're going to see that difference. And that person is going to see that too. And they got
Yeah.
to make a choice. Either I'm going to roll with the punches and get my shit together, or I'm out because I can't even, there's no way
Right.
that I can treat this person the way, like, that she's showing me right now. So it's either one or the other.
And I think it's important, like you were saying, we are able to see this because we have done that work. And I think, sometimes when I'm in session, I tell my clients, I'm like, listen, like I've been where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people telling me these things too. And it was always like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. But I said, but I've made it to the other side at this point, and you can too.
Yeah.
I'm always like, there's the other side of this. So with this client, I'm like, you're finally on this side.
Yeah.
I love it. And she literally said, like, I was with this person for 10 years, like a long relationship when she was in high school. And she was like, I'm so happy that that didn't work out because that got me here.
Yeah.
So it's like you can look back and realize that like these hardships and these difficult times that you have gone through, and that when you have the courage to leave or the strength to leave a situation, it's setting yourself up for something so much better in your future.
Yeah. You gotta have awareness and
Yeah.
self-compassion. That's the start. Be aware of what you're feeling, be aware of your whys, be
Right.
aware of where you are, with a relationship with yourself, because it's the best relationship that you'll ever have. It's the most important relationship that you'll ever have is the relationship with yourself. That's gonna take you places.
Right. And if at any point you feel like this is love, but you've lost yourself, I think you need to rethink about where you are.
Yeah, yeah. You can't shame yourself for having these thoughts or feelings or recognizing these things. That's where the self-compassion comes in at. We're human,
Give
you know?
yourself grace.
Yeah, have to, for sure. Oh, instead of finding safety in your relationship only, try to find safety outside of that relationship within yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
One thing that I always kind of tell my clients is like, think about what your love language is.
Mhm.
How can you give yourself that? How can you spend time with yourself? How can you give yourself words of affirmation? How can you give yourself gifts? How you want somebody to love you is how you need to love yourself first.
Preach.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode.
See you guys next week.
If you have any questions or would like to connect with us, please follow us on Instagram and send us a DM or send us an email to the platforms listed below.